And what are we talking about today? Today, we're talking about live streaming. Live streaming on LinkedIn, a simple Kickstart kit for LinkedIn live events. Everything you want to know. And in this episode, we're diving deep into the world of LinkedIn live streaming. And I want to provide you with the essential tools, the insights to launch live events on this platform. Yay! Are you excited about that? Yes, let me know. Leave a note in the comments if you can see me, hear me, let me know. I appreciate that. Also, I have a new camera. If it looks better, let me know. Right. So, and also insider tip, I'm going to share my personal flight plan, kind of a checklist, a go-to schedule of how I prepare. I'm going to share that with you today at the end. So please do stick around for that. And for those of you who are listening on the replay, be sure to skip to the end to catch that before you leave. All right. That's a little trick for me to you. So for those of you who are here live or listening on the replay, let me know in the comments below, what's your experience with live streaming? Are you a profi, as they like to say in Austria? Have you done it a lot? Are you a newbie? Are you an expert? Have you just been in the audience or a host or a guest? Are you live streaming curious? Let me know, because that's going to help me also know how best to share my information today, so I can be sure to cover the topics that matter to you. And I'm checking the comments now just to see what you're leaving there. Great. And again, if you're driving, don't feel pressure to leave comments, no matter how many times I ask for them. So, as I mentioned, hi, I'm Elizabeth, and I'm here live from Vienna, Austria. And you might be wondering, like, who is this person and why should I listen to her? If we haven't met before, I'm Elizabeth, and I'm a verbal branding expert, helping you attract attention, wow audiences, and kick imposter syndrome to the curb. Yes, so you can get to yes. So you can get to yes. And that's why we're talking about live streaming today, because it's weird, isn't it? It can be weird. It can feel strange to create a live event and open yourself to, well, honestly, anything can happen. It's unpredictable. You can control some things, but not everything. And this is live and it's recorded, which can feel intimidating. So we're going to talk about that and how you can prepare and make it work for you. Because in my experience, and I think I'm not alone in this, live streaming is not about being perfect. It's about showing up prepared. And that's what I want to help you with today. So why is this important? Why do we want to do live streaming? What's the big deal, right? Well, I can say business is changing. Generation Z is entering the workforce. LinkedIn is changing. There's the latest updates to the algorithm. And, I've noticed that a lot of users and a lot of conversations are scrambling to tweak their behaviors. How should I work LinkedIn now? How can I get the algorithm to love me? Or on YouTube, or wherever you happen to have a stronger presence. And there's so many questions. Which is more important, the likes or the comments? What happened to the talks about section? Where are the hashtags? And how often should I post? What's my schedule? What about reposting? How can I get more reach or numbers? What numbers are good? It's overwhelming. It's overwhelming. And for me, I'd rather focus on the big wigs, and I encourage big wigs, big wins. I do have braces that I'm still adjusting to learn how to speak properly with. So cheer me on, give me some encouragement there if you feel my pain. But I'd rather focus on the big wins, and I encourage you to do the same. These are the actions that bring me closer to my goals, not someone guru's goals, but my goals. And what are my goals? Conversations with people, because people do business with people. Opportunities and potential come from conversations with people, and creating opportunities for those conversations that matter. That's what I'm about, and that's what I want to help you with. And right now, conversations that matter to me are my conversations with you. So let's jump in on this. So, one thing a dear friend of mine, Michelle, said is that great minds meet in small rooms. And in 2024, live streaming gives us the opportunity to do that, just like we're doing right now. So, let's jump in. We're about 5 minutes in. I'm going to keep this short and crisp. We're going to start off with a kickoff question. How can I try LinkedIn live streaming? If you haven't tried it yet, I really recommend listen, consider it, and I'll give you the tools to really decide if it's for you or not. I'm just checking the comments, checking the connectivity. Great. Super. Glad to have you here. So the big question is, can I do lives? And I'm going to give you the bad news first. Is that all right? You want the good news first or the bad news? Here's the voting. Ding, 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 ding. Good news or bad news first? So the bad news is that there are barriers to entry. There are barriers to entry. There's a barrier to entry and a barrier to access to the sharing tools. So here are a few requirements that LinkedIn says you must have, and they have a list for this. I can give you that in a second. Number one, your account on LinkedIn. Well, first you have to have an account on LinkedIn, and your account has to be at least 30 days old. You have to have at least 150 followers or connections. And you must have a creator mode turned on. And then you also have to trigger, they have to review it and then approve you. Some accounts are already pre-approved, but some you have to trigger an approval or review, and then you can get that button, that blue button, that magic blue button. That means you can go live. You can create an event. Actually, when you go into, if you want to know if you have the access, and right now or not, I can give you a simple test. When you go to create a post, go to create an event, choose a live event, a live video event, and you'll see if you have access or not. And there is another huge barrier to entry for those in China. LinkedIn will not allow people in China to do this. Now, that said, don't feel disheartened. That said, I know people who are currently living in China doing LinkedIn live streams. So if you want to know more about that, drop a link in the comments or send me a private message if that's something that's interesting or important to you. Otherwise, we'll just leave it to you to draw your own conclusions. So the question I have for you before we go on is, what do you think about these rules? Are they fair? Are they useful? Are they good? Do you like LinkedIn's rules or not? And I'm going to give you the official link that LinkedIn has. I'm going to give that to you here in a message. Whoops. I'm going to give that to you here as a link so you can look that up later and have that. I should have labeled it. Oops. That's the list of rules. And I'm going to put that here as well. The list requirements. See, this is what I'm talking about live. And I just thought maybe I should put the list of requirements in front. And so that happens live. Whew, sweating under pressure. But it's not about being perfect. It's about being prepared. So, what are the key questions that I consider for every single event? So, this is not a Kickstarter kit for super beginners. I mean, it is, but it's also one that I use on an ongoing basis. So, it's valuable and useful for me as well. So, one, I try to have a very clear focus. I want to know who, what, how, why am I having this event, and when am I having it? Before I start worrying about details of technical issues or what kind of camera I'm going to use, I need to know why. What is the reason? What is my driver? What's my goal? Who do I want to connect with? How do I want to connect with them? I might start thinking about, once I've decided. I've done a previous episode about, is LinkedIn live streaming for you? Did not prepare the link for that, but that's the previous live session I did last Thursday. And, once you decide that you want to have an event, it's time to think about the title, the thumbnail, and the speakers. Do I want to talk with someone else or alone? What's a potential title? What will attract interest? What problems am I trying to solve? What's my goal? And create a thumbnail. This is a great place to start. And think about the verbal branding. And that's kind of my specialty. So let me talk a little bit more about this. It's about what to say, how to say it, and your positioning. Positioning. So you mean close to the camera, far? I mean positioning. How do you want people to view you? Because actually, we don't get to determine our own positioning. Others determine it for us by what we're broadcasting, by what we're putting out there. And I can give you an example of positioning. Oh, she's the one that talks about Facebook ads, or she's the one that talks about LinkedIn commenting or LinkedIn profiles. So I'm the one who talks about fill in the blank because you get to determine the positioning. But I think verbal branding, LinkedIn Live sessions maybe could fit in there. Leadership presence, getting to yes. So good. This is number one, having a clear focus about what I'm going to say, how I'm going to say it, why am I doing it? What's my big why? The second thing that I need to talk about is the tech stuff. It's true. And right now, I'm going to give you the most basic stuff. Hold on one second. Okay, good. I'm going to give you the most basic stuff about the tech. So first, you do need some hardware. There's no two ways about it. You need to have a camera, a mic, a computer, and light. So without getting into the minutia details later, just very basically, you need to have a camera, you need to have a mic, you need to have a computer. This can all be on your phone, and light can be sunshine at the most basic level. But for other details, we can talk more about that later. Right now, I just want to do the most basic essentials. The second thing you're going to need is software, right? As I said before, you need to have a LinkedIn profile with the ability to make the event, or a YouTube profile channel, as you wish, wherever you want to be streaming this. You need to have a streaming tool. This is another barrier to entry specifically on LinkedIn. Now, what are some streaming tools? What's this, Elizabeth? What are you talking about? Unlike other platforms such as Facebook or YouTube, where you can directly publish within the platform, LinkedIn does not allow that. So you need to have a separate streaming tool. LinkedIn audio events can be done within the platform itself. You don't need a third-party tool, but LinkedIn video events needs to have a separate software option. There are plenty that are available. There's Riverside, Restream, SocioLive, StreamYard, Switcher, Studio, Vimeo, and you can even have custom stream tools such as Zoom or WebEx. Now, I have my preferences, but what I recommend, especially at the start, is use what you know or use what you have. If you already have Zoom for other business purposes, use that. Don't get lost in analysis paralysis trying to find the perfect stream tool. The best thing to do is to begin and improve. So that's the most basic stuff you're going to need for the software. The third thing you're going to need, because you need hardware, software, and there's something else you need, is a link. And this I'm going to also give you. I'm having trouble. Elizabeth's having trouble. I'm going to give another link for going live. And this is another quirky thing. You need this link to connect. Hi, Catherine. I just saw your comment from one live to another. It's true. I just jumped from your live into this live, and this is a link you probably know very well that I'm about to share. This is the link to actually make your live go live. So you were probably in there just a few seconds ago staring at that beautiful blue button. Yeah, waiting for that blue button to come on so you can go live. So great. So that's another important link that we need. All right, I've lost my notes. 1 second. Here we go. I was so excited about seeing Catherine. I lost my notes. So this is actually probably the perfect time for you to jump in here. I'm so glad you're here. And for those who are also listening, feel free to leave a comment. I'll call out your name as well because it's so exciting, isn't it? When someone calls out your name live. I don't know. I find it thrilling. So we've covered the most basic basics, the hardware, the software, the magic link. And you can find this using a simple search. It's not secret knowledge. This is not something I developed myself. So perhaps there's no eye-popping information yet, but I'd like to show you my own step-by-step guide to LinkedIn Live events. Actually, it's my go-to flight plan for every single event I run. Do you want to see it? Do you want to see it? Leave me a note in the comments and we'll get that open for you. Oops, I see. Catherine just pointed out that she uses Restream. So she has a red button in her Restream. I was speaking specifically about the one. So with Restream, are you not using that link, the same one? Anyway, to connect the two. But anyway, it's a red button. Oh, that's exciting. I wonder if that changes the vibe. For me, it's a glorious blue button, like that LinkedIn blue. That's what I get. And I click it and I'm live. Super, as I am right now. Good. So are you interested in seeing my flight plan? This is going to involve some screen sharing. So I'm getting that set up. And also, I need the feedback. I need the love. So go ahead and give me the hoots and the hollers and the icons and everything. So I know you want to see it because I'm sharing my own personal stuff here. Give me some love. So I need a tab. This one. All right, we're sharing. Are you ready? And we don't need the audio. All right, and it looks like I am screen sharing now. Is that right? If you could see my screen, go ahead and let me know in the comments. I would love to know to make sure I'm, doing what I'm supposed to. It looks good to me. It looks good on my end. But so this is my flight plan. This is my magic flight plan. And it is, all right, there we go. So I'm going to go, yes, Catherine sees it. Thank you. Thank you. And I have to move some of my hardware so I can see things. Can you read it? Is it big enough? I wonder if I could zoom in. Oh, that didn't help at all. Anyway, so I'm going to go through the tasks and I'm going to go through rather quickly just to help you understand how I approach live events. And maybe this can be helpful for you. So here's the task. About a month before, as I said, first thing I'm thinking about is the title, the description, the graphic, time, date, and duration. So just thinking about those initial parameters 2 weeks before, and this is not carved in stone. I mean, this can be flexible and set up for how you need it. But 2 weeks before, I create the event. Earlier is better. I see some people who have it 6 months in advance. Create the event, and then underneath that means inviting the speakers, accepting the speaking invite, making sure that can happen. Invite contacts, create posts and messages about the upcoming event, connecting that streaming channel, whichever software tool you want to use. You can be set up in advance, not a problem. And activate a promotion plan and reposting the event. This is all super useful to do in advance. And Catherine, as I know, you just did a live stream event that I was attending with you. Does that work for you? Is this how you do it? Do you do something different? I would love to hear your experience here. And 1 week or a few days before the event, I'm sharing my notes and structure with all the speakers. Make sure everyone's on the same page, everyone feels prepared. A few days in advance, that allows time for feedback, editing, review. No fail messaging. That may seem quirky. What? Elizabeth, what is that? I'm going to tell you in 1 second. And don't be frantic about writing this down. I will offer it to you at the end. So listen and try and ask questions and let me know if something's unclear. The no fail messaging is my own framework to make sure I get my messaging, my main message and communication across. to make sure that the connection between us, the listeners, and what I'm putting out there and broadcasting is successful. So it's a good investment of my time. No fail messaging, engagement plan, CTA. You might have heard that term before. Call to action, reposting again, preparing the files, the downloads, the links. All of that happens the week before the event. One day before. Okay, so this is preparing any props. I've used props in the past. I don't have a prop today, but I can use this as an example. Bzzz. I have a comment from Catherine. My order of doing things is a little different as I only create the event a week before. I share my notes and visuals with the speakers before that, though. My content is pretty similar, though. So, okay, so she's prepping people before she creates the event. Also fine. That has happened for me as well. It depends on my work schedule and workload, but I find you have to find the way that works for you, and experimenting with this is a fantastic approach until you find something where you can get in your groove, get your flow, and find something that works well. Now, where was I? Oh yeah, props, documents, files, links, music, anything that you want to have live during the show. For example, I prepared this file. And then you want to check the streaming channel, check the LinkedIn event page and description, YouTube, Twitch, wherever you happen to be streaming to make sure everything's lined up and ready to go. If somehow that fell through the cracks before, or if there's some human error that happened, I put this check in there just to take a few minutes and make sure that's fine. Excuse me. Good. Ask. I love to message registered participants. So when there's a LinkedIn event, people can register for the event. And once they're registered, they show up in a panel for networking, people who are registered, and I can message them, start the conversation early, find out if there are any questions, any topics they would really like me to cover before the event starts. I always like to have that in advance so I can prepare and make sure I don't miss anything that's important for them. Review, all debriefing notes, repost, game day, repost. Do you notice I put in repost a lot? Restart, update the computer. I have a tech check, a content check, a personal check. Okay, what are all these checks? So here, this is under the tools section, and it's a little bit slower because it's streaming, but here are the checks. You can see this here on line 30. I don't know if you can see that clearly. There's a tech check, a content check, a personal check. So I'm making sure I have everything I need and not overloading my brain trying to remember everything because there's so many moving pieces. So I just like to set myself up for success. All right. Reminder posts, send personal messages, run the show, engage with the audience, check for quotes or aha moments, focus on the feeling. These are all things that are very important for engaging with your audience, for having that back and forth communication. Post-production. Do I have a list for post-production? You bet I do. So there's a debrief and review meetings. Here are the reviews where I have questions like what worked, what didn't, what can be improved. And again, you can see here there's quotes to pull. Why do I want to pull out quotes or important topics? This is excellent material, ripe and ready for posting. You can have a quote post or you can write an article about it. It's just inspiration ready to go. So back to my flight plan. Follow up. If I promised something, which I did in this event, I'm promising you a copy of this flight plan, quotes, anything, communication, follow up, notes, whatever I promise, I want to follow up with. And activate the post-production promo plan. And I have a whole promo plan here under this tab. Not for today, but this is, it seems like a lot. I get it. It seems overwhelming, but at the same time, it takes all the overwhelming, moving stuff out of my brain, puts it into a document that I can go through with ease. And that's what I like. I like going live with ease. That's my goal. That's my goal for me and for you. So if you want to know more about that, we can talk. But first, what were your aha moments? What did you hear from my flight plan that you thought, that's good. I want to remember that, or I want to know something about that? Or from anything I said earlier, any aha moments, anything that I said you want to remember, or questions? Maybe something new, something exciting. And I know there's a delay, so I'm going to prepare my last thing for you while giving space for those aha moments. Catherine Reed offers most important point about it is to have a plan, a checklist. Yes, I can hear the angels singing as you're typing that. It's so true. It's so true. And I am not a plan checklist person. Not at all. And yet this has changed my life. It's a game changer. Okay, not my life, but my LinkedIn live streaming life sure has. It just adds so much ease to it. Just makes it easier. Like a pilot about to fly a plane. There are so many things to remember and check that you don't want to forget, that you don't want to miss one just because I was trying to remember or think about what we're going to have for dinner tonight. Don't leave it to chance. The opportunity for that plane to crash, not interested. Good. That is an excellent aha moment. The most important point is to have a checklist, and you can make your own. I encourage you to do it. So, one thing I hinted at earlier, but I haven't spoken about is the upgrades. The upgrades. So, if you have the most basics, maybe you say, okay, Elizabeth, I'm using my phone and the sunlight and just the mic from this, and that's it. I'm starting. This is all I have. Fine. That's great. You can do it. Done is better than perfect. That's my philosophy. But if you're ready for an upgrade, if you're doing it for a little bit, or you have a little extra urge to invest and improve the quality, I applaud you when the time is right. Here's the order that I personally would upgrade my hardware, because that's the biggest question, right? Upgrading the hardware. The first thing I would recommend is a second device, getting a second device. I use my phone, and so I can join the session as a participant. This enables me to check the visuals, to check the comments, see how I show up. What is the quality of the video? Am I hanging off the side of the frame too much? What's happening? Just to make sure that's good. And you can have a second device. It can be your phone. It can be a second computer. You can have an iPad, or a person, a friend in the other room, an employee, a coworker, your boss, getting a second device on board. Huge improvement, huge return on investment there. The second step is I would recommend investing in a mic. So here, I have a mic here. It's a Rode mic. It has the O with a Rode mic. The thing that I want to circle back to in the beginning, the first thing I think about is the content of LinkedIn Live sessions, because the content is gold. You can have granular pixelated video. You can have an audio session with zero video. Why are people showing up? It's for your content. What are you saying? What are the words you're using? And that's why, because that's your gold, you want to have a mic to be able to pick that up better. Is that getting noisy when I move it around? Apologies. I want to make sure, and you need to make sure, that people can hear you, because it's easy to have an audio event with no visuals, but it's weird to have a visual with no audio, right? Invest in the audio first. The third thing would be lighting. Yes, you can use the sunshine, overhead light, or even small lamps. A ring light is popular. I have one over there, or a flat panel light box. Yeah, work on your lighting. It helps make the once you have a visual, it helps make it look just a little bit better, right? The fourth thing when you're ready to upgrade in is a camera. And I have to say, this is my first live session with this camera working. What do you think? Is it nice? It's a Logi Brio, something like that, I think the name. Let me see if I can find it. If you're interested in that, send me a comment. I can give you the exact details. And the fifth thing, when you're ready to upgrade, I would recommend a second monitor. A second monitor just to have more space. It enables me because I find sometimes when I'm um, wanting to share different things, run different things, it gets all complicated on my tiny screen. So just having that space to be able to see everything visually makes it easier for me. But remember, and I can't say this or emphasize this enough, key, double underline, bold highlight, live is not about being perfect. Streaming live is not about being perfect. Just show up prepared. Be ready to share your value, your content, because that's the goal. All right, I see some comments. Yes, I don't like opening up on a second device because it takes too much of my Wi-Fi bandwidth. Very good point. And something I didn't mention is you absolutely do need an internet connection to be able to do live events. Thank you for that, Catherine. Yes, circling back, editing my notes, you're 100% right. Yeah, opening up with a second device. Now, could it be that you use your phone not connected to the Wi-Fi, depending on your cellular plan? But yeah, if you have someone else in the room or maybe a friend in a different location, some ways to think about that. But I find having a second device helps me out a lot. Do you open another window or how do you check how you show up? I use a second device. I find it pretty helpful. All right. I love this. I love this. So a quick recap. I'm not sure if Catherine will be able to answer. Restream gives me the whole of the chat. Yep, both from LinkedIn and YouTube is consolidated. Yes, that's true. Very nice. And you can highlight different comments, which I love as well. My mic is a Yeti Blue, but I started with just Apple. Okay. Yeah. Do you agree from your experience when you start, the most important thing is just to start and improve over time and to upgrade over time? I would love to hear your thoughts on that. That is my heart message here. That is my heart message. Yeah, just start. So a quick recap of the highlights because we're coming up, we're at the half hour. Quick recap of the highlights. Clear focus on your why. Why are you doing this? This is taking time, effort, energy, tech, all of that. So make sure you're clear about your why. We talked about the tech requirements, potential upgrades, my flight plan, because there are a lot of moving pieces. There are a lot of moving pieces, and it's nice just to have them all sorted, all sorted. And I want to give you right now, my gift to you is encouragement. Encouragement to take action and start implementing the strategies and ideas we discussed today. And an invitation to you. So encouragement and an invitation. Two gifts. It's almost like Christmas. Where's my Christmas hat? An invitation for you to join future episodes. I'm going for this month. I'm doing a whole series, actually, not just February, but a month of live-in sessions. I'm doing a series on free trainings for LinkedIn live streaming. Next week is a leap day. It's the 29th of February. Yay! So it's leap ahead. Join me next Thursday. I will put a link below for that event so you can join me for another episode to help kickstart your journey with LinkedIn live streaming and your LinkedIn live success. So do you like what we're sharing? Do you like what I'm saying? Do you love it? Ding, ding, ding. Drop some hearts. Give me some love and make sure we're connected on LinkedIn. Go ahead and click that bell icon so that you'll be notified whenever I'm posting new content or something you're interested in. And leave a comment or send me a private message with the words flight plan, and I'll make sure to give you a copy of that. Yes, I'm going to give it to you just like that. So if you're listening on the replay and you skipped ahead, here it is. Send me a message with the words flight plan, and I'll be sure to give you a copy of that. And as Catherine said, she developed her own flight plan, and I welcome you to do the same. So thanks so much for joining me today for this simple kickstart for your LinkedIn Live streaming. Let's continue the conversation either in the comments or in a private message, or direct message, I think is the official term. Thanks a lot and have a great Thursday. Ciao.